powerful youth leader later. And I'll give you the chance to come and put stone, as young people say, call it. So I'll give you the opportunity later, our senior. So I'll speak very briefly about these gallant men that lay before us here this morning. People that I have known in the course of journey of leadership, of course led by our colleague, Johana, a great man from our land, a true son of the soil that has fought long and hard to ensure that his people feel properly represented and his people gain out of his leadership. I knew Mheshimiwa Ngeno in 2015, I think like Mheshimiwa Meli had said, had just been granted the ticket for the Jubilee Party. And they came very strongly to campaign together with many others, including Mheshimiwa Sudi, who seated there for their candidate, the KANU candidate in that by-election. Of course, things went the way they went, and we finished that by-election. I joined them in Parliament. So when it got to 2017, I went to Emuru Wadikir to revenge also, to do what politicians do to each other. And we tried our best, but we never managed to get Ngeno out. And it was during that particular season that I met a very hardworking and diligent young man who I wheeled into church this morning in a casket, my good friend Carlos. Carlos was Carlos. Very distinguished also. We may not, maybe many of you may not know him, may not remember him as a leader, but for those of us that have done politics in Emuru Wadikir, there were days when, without Carlos, you were not guaranteed of doing a political meeting in that constituency. He had a very powerful group of young men that walk around him. I don't recall the exact name they called themselves. But you could not do a political meeting without first consulting with them. And we worked with him very well during that particular campaign. When we finished, so distinguished was Carlos in his work that when we finished the campaigns of 2017 and came into office, it was actually the president himself, not any other person, that said, you know, those of you that have worked with the president, you know how he makes his decision. Said, that young man from Emuru Wadikir, yeah, the tall one, I want him to be amongst the people that work in this office of the deputy president. That's how Carlos got himself employed, because of his organization skills. And he worked there for that particular period. And I have known him throughout the years, very hardworking young person, very gifted, also in his mobilization skills, ability to speak and move with people. I last saw Carlos in December. He had come to Cheruiyot for a function, and we spoke many things, and of course left each other. I didn't know that perhaps that will be the last time that I would see him alive. So I equally pass my condolence to his family, to his siblings, to his parents, and do promise that the way you requested this morning when you were pushing the casket, that please don't forget us now that your friend is gone. I promise that I will not forget you. Carlos was a true brother, and we shall continue to be together with you guys. And so many other people that you've learned. Mheshimiwa Ngeno had a unique team. I think even of Nicholas, his camera person, who taught me something without saying it. As you know, many of you are politicians. When you go to public functions and you sit there at the front, many of our colleagues come with their camera persons. And part of the things that Nicholas used to do is that he would capture me in not very nice moments, and then they'd be posted. So one time I complained to my camera person and I sent him to Nicholas and say, please ask Nicholas, why does he always capture me at my worst moments? Either when, of course, I don't sleep in public functions, but there are certain things that I do. Sometimes I shake my head as if I'm talking to myself or something. And Nicholas was very good at capturing those moments. My camera person came back to me with an answer. He said, it is his way of telling you that when you're seated in public, no people are watching you. Just be steady. And I think I have tried the last few times. That is how gifted this team of Mheshimiwa Ngeno was. So, and so many other people. This Captain George, I flew with him on Sunday before they perished, just a week later. And it was very organized. In fact, you know, people have tried to find reasons here and there what may have happened. My own assessment of Captain George, having flown with him barely a week before he perished, he was a very meticulous pilot. Very careful. We were together with the Speaker of the National Assembly, and you can attest that he was organized in the way that he took his flight. When you land, he gets out of the chopper first, shows you a way where to walk to. So much as many people are saying many things, I would still wish to believe that only God knows what may have happened. But this was also a very gifted pilot, and so many others of the team that worked with Mheshimiwa Ngeno. So I wouldn't wish to say a lot of things, Mheshimiwa Kimani. I know time is far much spent, but I celebrate this Mheshimiwa Ngeno. I had told you that in 2017, we went and tried to outseat him. We didn't succeed. But as fate would have it, 2018 we came to Parliament, mended fences quickly, as politicians do. That's why I want to advise those of you that are not politicians like us, never carry a grudge on behalf of us. Politicians have that thing of doing, which young people say, they shower and go back to the market quickly. They make friends and enemies in quick succession. By 2018, we worked together and did so many other things together, the challenges we had in the Mao and all these things. And happily, 2022, he joined our party, the UDA party. We went, campaigned together. I do recall, I must say this, Mheshimiwa Ichungwa, and Mheshimiwa Kawanjiko, who's there, is my witness, because he's a person we had sent, when we were planning the party primaries, we had sent a few of our members to oversee elections in certain constituencies. And Mheshimiwa Kawanjiko was in charge of Emuru Wadikiri. When he got there, he wanted to take off before getting out of his car, because Emuru Wadikiri is a special place. He told me, you know how me, I come from Kiambu. I've never been, the only place where people carry knives and rungus is either in a fight or in a butchery. Here everybody has a knife. I told him, please keep calm. Those people will not harm you. Then there was a very serious issue that had arisen. Mheshimiwa would recall. His competitor and the line that they belonged to had actually enlisted their supporters only as the party agents and the clerks. And Mheshimiwa Ngeno called protesting. He said, I knew you guys were up to something when you were inviting me to join this party of yours. You wanted to finish me. And he was really complaining. Luckily, we agreed with the guidance of the party leader together with Mheshimiwa Kawanjiko, who was really tense at that moment. I told him, no, don't worry about Emuru Wadikiri. They exist in that nature. Just sit the two of them, let each of them give you 50-50 of the agents and the clerks. And that is how they did a successful nomination. And Mheshimiwa Ngeno became our party candidate. We campaigned together and came to Parliament this term. So I have many stories that I would have said about Mheshimiwa, but I wouldn't wish to spend a lot of time. I celebrate him. There are many things we agreed with. There are things that we didn't agree together. But in principle, we agreed on the things that he stood for. We perhaps sometimes only differed in the approach of how to get what he wanted. But nonetheless, we remained good friends, meeting occasionally. His kids and mine go to the same school, and we have sometimes very interesting conversations at the parking lot of the school, because it'd be a weekend. He would have said something, sometimes maybe not very nice against people that I know, and he'd give the explanation, and I'd wish to appreciate. I saw teachers from the school. I saw our school principal, Miss Vashisht. I can't trace where she's. I've seen you together with Miss Kishimo. Thank you for coming to mourn with the children of Mheshimiwa Ngeno and representing the school here. So on many occasions we'd meet and share such occasions. I don't want to speak longer than that. I want to say, Pole, we have lost a great leader. I call on our people to come together in this moment of grief and reflect the true spirit of Mheshimiwa Ngeno, who wanted our community and our people to prosper in the greatest way possible. May God rest the soul of Mheshimiwa Ngeno and all our other 5 brothers in eternal bliss. God bless you.